The phone rang exactly twice. A crisp, aggressive sound that cut through the humid summer afternoon, and when I answered, the voice on the other end was pure, unadulterated Homeowners Association fury. "You are trespassing on private property, sir, and we have called law enforcement." Trespassing? On the 80 acres my great-grandfather homesteaded? What in the world was she talking about? This wasn't just a miscommunication. It was the inevitable, sickening collision of old-school grit and new-money arrogance, and I could feel a low, dangerous burn start in my gut. I slammed the flip phone shut and took a deep, shuddering breath, the air thick and heavy with the smell of sun-baked pine needles and, disturbingly, freshly poured concrete. That smell was the only real evidence I needed. The encroachment wasn't theoretical anymore. It was physical, sprawling right up to the line I thought was legally unbreachable. I wiped the sweat from my forehead with a stained handkerchief. Could this seriously be happening? I swung the rusty gate open, climbed into my beat-up '95 Ford F-150. The truck that smelled perpetually of diesel, sawdust, and honest work, and bounced down the familiar, rutted track toward the new development. The road quickly smoothed out into pristine, black asphalt. That abrupt transition, the smell of sizzling asphalt giving way to the sickly sweet scent of perfectly manicured zoysia grass, was like a physical punch. And there she was. Brenda, the president of the Shadow Creek Estates Homeowners Association. She was standing in the middle of a brand-new, sterile cul-de-sac, arms crossed over a crisp, white linen top, flanked by a sign that read, "Private Drive. Unauthorized vehicles towed." She looked like a freshly extruded plastic figurine, utterly foreign to the dusty soil beneath her expensive white trainers. "Mr. Hawthorne," she announced, her voice pitched with a condescending authority that made me want to sigh so loud the cicadas would stop their screaming. "I warned you. This is the boundary of Phase 3. You are actively driving a motorized vehicle across the common area deeded to the Shadow Creek Estates Homeowners Association as of 2018. This is a 5-home stretch, and your truck is obstructing construction traffic." She paused, narrowing her eyes. "Honestly, why would you even attempt this?" I stopped the truck and killed the engine. The resulting silence, save for the incessant, buzzing drone of the summer insects, felt enormous. I unfolded my long, tired frame from the cab, the old truck door groaning in protest, a sound of the past refusing to be silenced. "Brenda," I said, my voice low, aiming for calm but landing somewhere near gravel. "That common area is my land. Always has been. The property line runs past that oak tree, 50 yards to your west. You and your board have built 5 McMansions on my great-grandpa's north pasture." She let out a short, dismissive laugh, the kind that sounds like sandpaper on glass. "Oh, please, don't be ridiculous. We completed a full title search. We have the surveys. 5 years ago, your family received notice of the subdivision filing. We are completely within our rights. Frankly, this sounds like a pathetic attempt to extort us." She looked at a spot just over my shoulder, as if addressing the police who hadn't arrived yet. "Do you have any idea the value of the properties you're disrupting? What is your game here?" I took another breath, tasting the dust of the old farm mixing with her stale, expensive perfume. A pathetic attempt to extort? That choking sense of disbelief quickly turned into pure, cold resolve. This was the moment. "My game, Brenda, is owning what's mine," I replied, pulling a heavy manila envelope from my back pocket. Just then, 2 patrol cars, their lights spinning silently, turned onto the cul-de-sac. Brenda brightened, waving dramatically. "Officers, thank goodness. This man is claiming ownership of land clearly zoned and developed by the Homeowners Association. He's trespassing and obstructing." I ignored her, handing the envelope to the first officer, a young guy who looked instantly uncomfortable. "Sir, my name is Samuel Hawthorne. This is the original deed, filed in 1932. And this," I handed him a second document, is the continuous property tax record paid up to this morning. Now, here is where it gets interesting. I pointed to a specific paragraph. 5 years ago, your HOA, or rather a highly unethical surveyor you hired, filed a subdivision plat that used an old, lapsed easement boundary as the new property line. They did this because they wanted a smooth, straight road. They essentially shaved off 2 acres to make your cul-de-sac perfect. The title company missed the original filing number. Brenda was starting to turn an alarming shade of crimson. That's absurd. We have title insurance. Sure, you do, I said, a slow, predatory smile finally spreading across my face. But my lawyer, bless her soul, didn't want the land. She wanted something better. You see, the title company did insure the land, but they missed one crucial thing. The 5 homes you built are now legally on a non-subdivided, agricultural parcel. I leaned in, watching the realization dawn on Brenda like a slow, painful sunrise. But wait, that's just a zoning problem, right? We can fix that, she sputtered, her composure finally fracturing. No, you can't, I stated, the final, definitive blow delivered with the sound of a pen clicking in my hand. A sharp, high-pitched tick that sounded louder than thunder. Because my family never sold the mineral rights. And more importantly, the reason you needed that specific 2-acre sliver wasn't for the homes. It was for the drainage easement. I pointed to a series of subtle concrete grates running along the border. My land is the lowest point in this entire valley. That easement is the primary water runoff and retention channel for the entire 300-house Shadow Creek development. For 5 years, my attorney has allowed you to unknowingly divert all your stormwater onto my property without a valid, recorded easement. You don't just have 5 illegal homes, Brenda. You have a massive, unpermitted drainage problem that affects every single lot in your community. The young officer whistled softly. So you control the water. Exactly, I confirmed. And since you called 911, claiming I'm a trespasser, I believe the proper legal term is now hostile possession. And that hostile possession has just been invalidated. The title company is liable for every penny of those 5 houses, and the homeowners association is liable to the title company for the fraudulent survey that invalidated the entire development's drainage plan. Brenda's phone, which she'd kept clutched in her hand, suddenly started ringing. An insistent, frantic blare from the microphone of one of the police radios. The real homeowners were finding out. I saw her shoulders slump, the pristine white linen suddenly looking defeated and crumpled. The sight was deeply, gloriously satisfying. So what happens now? The officer asked me, tucking his notepad away. I looked at Brenda, whose face was now a roadmap of panic and impending ruin. Now, I think Ms. Brenda and the Homeowners Association need to decide if they want to pay me fair market value for the pasturage and a new, legally recorded drainage easement for the entire development, or if they'd prefer to see a bulldozer take those 5 houses down and watch their entire community flood next spring. I tipped my imaginary hat. Either way, I'm heading home. Have a nice afternoon, everyone. And Brenda, maybe next time, check the original property boundaries before calling 911 on a farmer who's just standing on his own ground. As I drove away, leaving Brenda standing alone amidst the expensive, illegally placed foundations, the cicadas finally seemed to quiet, replaced by the triumphant sound of my old Ford rattling back down the dirt track. Justice, it turns out, is rarely swift, but sometimes, when it finally arrives, it brings a bitter, watery end to those who build empires on stolen earth. Isn't that the most beautiful twist of all?